It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome back to the Menangle Angle. My name's Jessica Watkins and joining me is our General Manager for Racing here at Club Menangle, David Wonson. Well, Wano, the Breeders' Challenge semi-finals are really heating up this Saturday night. Of course, we see the 3-year-olds take centre stage. We also see the 4-year-old boys in action as well. And another 10-race card. It's going to be an action-packed night.
Yeah, big race cards, great horses going around. We've seen some outstanding 2-year-olds last week. 50s and 51s were the norms for the 2-year-olds. They are shaping up as being outstanding finals. And this definitely doesn't fade into comparison to last week. There's some great horses going around, especially with the fillies and the boys, like in the 3-year-old divisions. Unfortunately, they can't compete in the Victoria Oaks or Victoria Derby this week, some of these horses, which they would have been due to unfortunate clashes. But that's our benefit because we've got them going around here.
We certainly do. And, of course, the feature event on the card, the St John's Park Bowling Club Les Chant Free-for-All also takes place as well. But we have an action-packed show coming up this Thursday. We have Will Rixon and also Bernie Hewitt joining us to preview their engagements this Saturday night. So plenty to get through. Let's get stuck straight into it. Our first guest on today's Menangle Angle, he isn't joining us from far away. He's just up there at the Menangle Park Training Centre. Will Rixon, how are you this Thursday?
Morning, Jess and Mono. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Good morning, Will. What a beautiful day out here at Menangle. Did you get them all worked early?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a late night from matches, Mono, so I probably didn't get here as early as I like, but got pretty well beat the heat. It's really warm this time of year, so it's good.
Actually, talking about the heat, it's supposed to be really hot here Monday. We've got a 36-degree day.
38, I think they said on Channel 7 last night.
Well, make sure there's plenty of ice blocks in the fridges in the driver's room for them.
Plenty of super-dupers all around.
I've got a better idea. How about we just move it to a night meeting, Mono?
Well, I think actually one of the Victorian meetings has already done that. So anyway, we'll see when we get a bit closer. But more importantly, we've got to tip all our listeners winners. And you've got plenty of them here potentially on Saturday night, mate.
I don't know about that.
So
a full book of drives, 10 drives for Will. An action-packed night coming up for you, Will. And that first engagement comes up in race 1, the MacArthur Engineering Pace. You'll partner with the Chris Judd trained Dom Toretto. The draw hasn't been too favourable there in barrier 10. What can you tell us about Dom Toretto's chances?
Yeah, the draw makes it definitely difficult for him. He's a little bit of speed inside, so he'll probably just need the pace to run the suit and might even drive him for a little bit of luck and hope we can get him into sort of the money there late.
Well, we'll go to race 2 and driving for the same stable, but the horse at the moment is absolutely airborne. That's Betterthancash, trained by Chris Judd, driven by Will Rixon. Barrier 6, a very good race. Captain's Knock makes his return. There's some nice free-for-all, and Donegal Luther's racing in good form. But was there a more impressive winner last weekend, Jess, than this horse, Betterthancash? He's got some blistering speed, hasn't he, Will?
Yeah, he did a great job to wheel in a horse like my name's Jeff. It's no easy feat and hasn't really been done much at Menangle. That horse has got an awesome record at Menangle. My name's Jeff. So, yeah, it was an exciting win and looks, it's a hard task again on Saturday night, but I'm sure he's up for it.
Well, in the next race, it's the first of our Breeders' Challenge semi-finals, and this one's for the 3-year-old fillies. You're going to partner with your dad, Peter, here, and one of your favourite fillies in Gunner Reload. I know that she's known as Barbie around the stable, and she was very strong in her heat win here last Tuesday at Menangle. How did she come through that performance?
Yeah, from all reports, everything's good with her, Jess. It was really pleasing to to have her win the way she did a fortnight ago. It was, first up, it was just a touch below par. So for her to bounce back like she did coming into this series again, we're really happy. And I'm happy with that draw on Saturday night. Obviously, it's a nice field, but she looks like she's definitely one of the leading chances.
How much of a leading chance? Because she's going to be in my selections later, so I really need to know before I declare on some of my selections later. Will, is she really good? Is she really good?
She's a good chance, Wano. She makes her own luck. Especially this year, she's got really good gate speed. She's versatile, so I think she's my best driver of the night.
I like that. Second semi-final of the 3-year-old fillies, and there's a lot of depth for this year, Jess, with the 3-year-old fillies, and these good ones keep competing in these big races. It's fantastic, and there's been a turnover of winners. It's just not one that's winning them. They've all had a chance at winning Group 2s and Group 3s and good prize money races, but you've got Violet Hanover here, Will, in a race that's got a lot of depth to it, drawn a little bit wide, trained by David Thorne. He's had a good year, Thorny. How's this one going to go?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little bit harder for her with Sugarfly Honey drawing inside her. She's got good gate speed, but it probably would be hard to use that in this race. We probably look to drive her with a sit, and she's a realistic, top 5 chance and a solid chance to make it into the final. And she's a handy filly. She might be just below the top tier, but you'd love to have her in your barn and you'd like to own her. So hopefully she runs a good race.
In race 5, then you're partnering back up with your dad and Royal Division here. The draw hasn't been kind to him at all. It was random barrier draw and he's come up with 11, of course. He'll move into 10 should the emergency not be required, but he's stepping back up to Saturday grade, but his win here on Monday was very, very strong.
Yeah, that's right, Jess. But, the Monday race was a pretty well a Saturday night race. Franco Tyson's a very consistent metro horse, and he was able to beat him and a couple other pretty handy horses. So I think it probably puts him in good stead into this race. Not too stressed about the draw at first. It looks ordinary, but the 2300, I think he'll have the respect to roll forward and probably find the front. And if that's the case, I'm sure he's a good chance.
Race 6, we've got the first semi-final of the 3-year-old colts and geldings. A very nice race. Horses like Jungle Dragon, Macbon, Double Lou. But you're driving horse number 1 for Jeff Dawn, Walter Warlock. He was jet propelled at Newcastle in his heat of the Breeders' Challenge. I think he went a 51 and was so good in that race. Barrier 1 does him no harm in this race.
No, that's right, Wano. I've always liked this horse since I drove him the first time in the blue last year, and he was just one of them horses that you could tell he was just going to get better and better. He was a little bit immature, and he always threatened to run a race like he did at Newcastle about a month ago in the heat. And I thought he went terrific that time up there. Really impressive, and he's come up with a good draw. And I think we've got to try and use it. Although it's a very strong field, I think. Off his last run and the second he run out in front, we've probably got to try and do the same thing again.
And just, he's just a little bit of trivia. Walter Warlock, bred by John Dumacy, former CEO of Harness Racing New South Wales, and this club.
There you go. Some very good trivia for any breeders buffs out there, that's for sure. The next semi-final for the 3-year-old colts and geldings then, Will, you're taking the reins aboard He's a Malteser for David Aiken. And since joining Aiken's stable, he's had a win and then he was 3rd last time out in his Breeders' Challenge heat. How do you rate his chances from barrier 8 here?
Yeah, the draw's hurt, I think, and it's obviously a really good field. I think he's definitely a chance of making the final. But he's just going to probably get back and I'm sure he'll finish off well. But it looks hard for him to win the race, but he's a pretty nice horse. So if we can get him into top 5 or 4, he's going to be the final. Might even suit him better with a lot of speed on, and I'm sure he'll finish off.
We go to the first of the 4-year-olds, race 8, and you're on Veet Monet. Veet Monet, Jess, is a horse. He's probably just one step behind, and he's still only 4, mind you. He's just one step behind the real good ones here on a Saturday night at the moment, but he's racing against them, and he's racing consistently well. Well, small field, couple go pretty nice in this, but he's a definite live chance in this race, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say small fields can be tricky, but yeah, we probably got to, I'd say it's a dropping class for him to what he's been racing, although we've got a lot of time for our goat. Yeah, he's definitely one of the chances, and hopefully we can get him the right trip, and he'll be in the money.
In the second semi-final for those 4-year-old Entires and Geldings, you've come up with barrier 1 here, Ravishing Sloy for Kevin Pizzuto. You've partnered him at his last 3 starts, and he found the line very nicely last time out up there at Newcastle when he finished second behind Kanina Provlima.
Yeah, very similar to Beat Monet. He's he's a rating 94, I think. So I think the race he's in on Saturday night is a little dropping class for him for the free for alls he's been racing, and Royal Cruise is obviously going to take a bit of beating, but I think he's very similar to Beat Monet. He's definitely one of the good chances in that race.
Lucky last, someone's got to be in the last, and it's the trot. So Jess, what I do, I try and stay out of there coming up to race 10 because all the trotting trainers always look at me and say, we're in the last race again,
I definitely heard you cop some abuse as they went out onto the track for the last Saturday.
From about race 8, I stay away because that's when they're all getting there. So you've got the Inform Rando team, and they've got a couple of nice trotters. Familiar Tricks comes to mind straight away. Leaf Stride from the stand. Well, I suppose I'll get my comeuppance there, Jess, because I've got to hold a strand usually. So I'll be out there with them for that last race. Leaf Stride coming back from a spell, but he has got form in the stands, Will.
The conditions are perfect for him, Mono. He's a really good stand horse. Normally, obviously, sometimes I can get it wrong, but he normally likes the stands and he likes the 23. I think the last time I drove this horse, he was able to win over the same conditions on a Saturday night. So I was really confident with his chances. There's just nothing wrong with his trial the other day. I think he can bounce to the front and take a bit of catching.
Ooh, confidence.
So, Will, if we were to be locking in your best drive of the night, best chance, are you sticking with Gonna Reload?
Yep, I'll Gonna Reload my best, and I'll say Leaf Stride next best, but maybe a little bit more value.
There you go. So Gonna Reload, Will Rixon's best, and at a little bit of more value there, Leaf Stride. Will, it's been great to speak with you today. Thank you for joining us on the Menangle Angle, and we wish you the very best of luck come this Saturday night here at Club Menangle.
No worries, Jess. I appreciate you having me on.
And just before you go, mate, I'm an expert in this field, and I'll talk to your mum about it. We'll get that hair cut very soon for you, okay?
Okay, thanks. Well, I might have to before the final night next week.
Thanks, mate.
Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Well, our second guest on today's episode of the Menangle Angle is joining us from up there at Bathurst, Bernie Hewitt. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jess. All good.
Hey, good lunchtime, Bernie, up there at Bathurst. Mate, down here it's pretty warm. What's it like up there at the moment? We watched the great race there on Sunday. It poured down. Did you get any of that nice H2O, and the crops are coming up nice and green?
Yeah, we got about 8 mil out of it though, but we need it because we've had about 100 mil of wind lately, so it's been a windy old season, and yeah, it's not looking real bright, but hopefully we get some more rain soon.
Bernie, your first engagement this Saturday night comes up in race 2, and that's Rip, drawn barrier 9 in the Les Chant free-for-all. He finished 6th here last Saturday night, but before that he was a winner and second placing, and he's been racing in great form. How is he coming into this Saturday night?
It seems good, Jess. Yeah, things didn't work out as good as planned last week, but that's what happens in racing, and he's pulled up well, and he doesn't miss a feed. He's a great eater and does well between runs. So now he's bright and ready to go again. So obviously he's drawn a bit wider this week than last week, but it could be a bit of a blessing too because he runs the arm pretty good from out wide. So I expect him to run a good race.
Yeah, he does run the gate from a wider barrier, doesn't he? There was a couple of starts ago he zipped across there, so. Yeah, no, I think he's a definite good chance there, Jess. We go to race 6, mate, and you hand the reins over to Jason for Jungle Dragon. A small field. There's a lot of depth in this first semi-final of the 3-year-old colts and geldings, isn't there? You got Walter Warlock, Max Sun, you've got Double Lou, but there's no horse in this race going any better than Jungle Dragon.
Yeah, no. So Jason's been driving him lately since we got home from Queensland with him, and we've had a few in the same grade, and he's been doing a great job. So he's come up with the outside gate, which always makes it difficult, but he's in great form, and he hasn't raced now since he won that race in Sydney, the Blues. But yes, he had one race, so he won the heat of the Breeders up at Bathurst, and now he had a trial that give him a hit out on Monday, and he seems really good. So no, it's the wide barrier is a concern, obviously, but the horse is in good form and looks super, so expecting to run a good race.
In the next 3-year-old colts and gelding semi-final, you have Sweet on Lexi, who is a last start Yagara Canola Cup winner. And for anyone that watched that race, it was an incredible tactics race out there at Yagara. And Bernie, it must have been pretty special to be able to get that win for owner and breeder Lex Crosby.
Yeah, well, Lex lives not far from Yagara, and he's had a lot to do with the committee and the running of the Canola Cup over the years. So great thrill for not only Lex, and his family, but also myself. I've sort of concentrated on that race for a lot of years, and it's always it's a great carnival out there, and they get a huge crowd there each year. And anyone that hasn't been to Yagara for the Canola Cup, I advise them to have a look at it, because it's a really great race, and it was a great thrill to be able to win that race with Sweet on Lex here, especially after his mother had won it some years previous, I think 2017. So, it was a great effort from a back row draw.
And he's come up with barrier 5 in this semi-final on Saturday night. How do you rate his chances?
Yeah, they're very good again, Jeff. He's been, he's won his last couple of races now, both at Yagara, and before that he was very honest and raced through the Brisbane Carnival up there and, in the Derby. So he's been hardened by a lot of, top-class racing, and he's come up with barrier 5 there, so he should be right in the firing line. And, there's a lot of depth in that field, and, I suppose really any horse in it could win that race with the right trip. But, I couldn't be happier with him, and I'm looking forward to a good run.
Mate, we go to race 8, and you've got number 8, Our Goat. You just mentioned about a trial on Monday. I think Our Goat was part of that trial. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Bernie. I think he's equalled the track record. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what they're telling us. So, the conditions are good. The track was in great order, and, a couple of really nice horses in Our Goat and Royal Cruiser, and also Jungle Dragon were in the trial. So, Royal Cruiser did the Our Goat did the early work, and Royal Cruiser rolled at the front and just kept the speed nice and genuine. It was a nice hit out, and I believe that they're all in great order. So I think Our Goat, even though he's on the outside gate as well, can be thereabouts, and I'm sure be disappointed if he doesn't qualify. I think he'll get through, and then hopefully better draws in the final. It'll be a great chance.
Mate, we mentioned about the times and the times they're running in. Mate, being in the sport for so long, you would have seen the evolution of when 2 minutes was the magical mark, and now you're running 150s in trials. It's just amazing how much it's developed over probably the last 10 to 15 years, the evolution of our horses, isn't it, the speed?
Yeah, that's for sure. There's a lot of factors, Wano, and obviously the bigger tracks are certainly one of the main thing, and the way they're prepared, and then the development of the sulkies, racing sulkies are so much quicker and lighter than they used to be, and probably another thing is that we do race a lot over the mile now, a bit like in North America. So we sort of we've followed along that path a bit, and look back at the old days. You'd run your 2500s, and Harold Park would run a 2700 metre race every week, and it certainly changed with the way we sort of racing. The horses are the breed has got better and quicker. So, it all augurs for quicker times right around the place, not only on the big tracks, but the small tracks as well.
Well, Bernie, just before Jess asked you about the last horse, we reminisced there a few weeks ago. I think you remember when we were talking about the great Nickalong Shadow. Can you imagine, like, the Rolly? This is the year they were in. There was Nickalong Shadow, and he was sort of racing horses called Rolly Alla and Rocket Jason, and all of a sudden they were running 159s around Penrith and Fairfield. What would Rolly Alla and those sort of horses, and Nickalong Shadow, Rocket Jason, run around a Menangle track with? You're talking about the tracks, the surface, the sulkies and that. Can you imagine what Rolly Alla would have done over a mile here when he was flying as a 2 and 3 year old for Kevin Rivette?
He was a real freak, Rolly. Like, without doubt, one of the best juvenile I've ever seen. And, I raced him a fair bit with Nickalong Shadow as well. And, he went on to be a great horse, but he had freaky speed, and he just looked like an average type of horse until he got on the track, and he just, grew into this monster. As soon as he got on the track, he had a beautiful gait, beautiful action, and he was, he's not only quick, but he's very strong as well. And that sort of horse, you wouldn't know what he'd run today on today's tracks and under the same conditions as the race today. And the same with Nickalong, he wouldn't be too far off the speed either. It'd be amazing they'd be running around their 150s without doubt. It's things have come a long way, there's no doubt about that. But I think it stacks up in any era. The real champions of the past would match up to the real good horses of today, I think, under the same conditions.
In that second semi-final for the 4-year-old Entires and Geldings, we just spoke about that trial there on Monday night from Royal Cruiser, and he's come up with barrier 7 there, Bernie. Do you look to push forward with him from the draw?
Yeah, well, I think he's in great form. They had a fortnight off after, he won the Stockade back on Eureka night and over the long trip, and they had a fortnight off, those couple of horses, and they really did well. That was the reason that we've sort of trialled them the last 2 weeks, because they'd have to really travel down to Sydney and race in the free-for-all ranks, and they'd be in the top grade probably. So they had to be kept up to the mark and moving forward. So I feel that I'll drive him forward with a fair bit of confidence. He's a pretty nice horse, and I think he's got a terrific future. So hopefully everything goes good for him and he can get the job done.
Mate, you haven't got one in the last, have you? The Trotter Standing Start race 10 to keep you here to just after 11 o'clock.
No, I haven't got a trotter, so it's one of those things. There again, I've never really trained a trotter, so
we'll get you there one day. We'll get you there one day. Before you go, let's make it something we've got to aim for, to get Bernie a trotter before he hangs up the reins.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bernie, you have a great team engaged this Saturday night. For any punters that are listening, who would you say is probably your top chance of the evening?
I'll probably going on the draws. Most of them do the outside gate. 3 or 4 of them did anyway. And probably Royal Cruiser. I think he's the horse to follow out of that bunch, I reckon, Jeff.
Well, maybe one day, mate, and they're all good horses in their own right at the moment, but there might be your next Nickalong Shadow amongst these, because, Jess, he was such an underestimated horse. He won so many good races. His longevity from being that early speed late 2-year-old. But he won 40, 50 races or something, didn't he?
He won, I think it was 45 races. He won 10 as a 2-year-old, and then he won 10 as a 3-year-old, and then he raced and won every season, won each season until he's a 7-year-old. He went and missed in his last start at Sesamoid, and which wasn't too severe, but yeah, Dad hung up his bridle then, and that was his last run. But Dad did a terrific job with him over those years to keep him up to the mark. And talk about racing 2-year-olds. Race started racing back in about November back in those days.
Yeah,
and,
Debutante Stakes, Leeton Breeders' Plate. The Debutante Stakes was in November, Jess, like down at Nowra. And Rocket Jason was part of that. They were big events, weren't they, Bern?
They sure were, and the harness racing fraternity really look forward to seeing, because Juno had the Illinois Stud Stakes as
That's
well.
right. Yep.
At the same time as just after or just before the Leighton race, he actually won both those races, and
Wow.
as I said, he went on and won 10 2-year-olds, and then backed up the next year and raced the top, in derbies and anything that was on right through his 3-year-old career. So he did a terrific job, and I think if they're managed well, you can get a good long career out of those horses.
Bernie, it's been great to reminisce with you today on the Menangle Angle and hear about your chances this Saturday night at Club Menangle. Thank you so much for your time and best of luck this coming Saturday night.
No worries then, Jeff. Thanks, Lana.
Thanks, Bernie. Thanks for your time. We'll reminisce again, I'm sure, one day soon.
Yeah, good on you.
Okay,
Thanks
mate.
for that.
Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Well, as we mentioned at the start of the show, 10 races getting underway from 6:18 p.m, and we're going to take a look at race 2, which is the St John's Park Bowling Club Les Chant Free-for-All, named in honour of one of our club Menangle legends, and it's certainly a special race on the card.
Yeah, it is. We look forward to having these legends races each and every time, and Les Chant certainly was one of those legends. I think he was the first trainer to train the Sydney and Melbourne Premiership.
He was.
In the same year.
That's right.
Now, we whinge that it's an 8-hour drive now. Back then, going through all those towns, no flights like they have today. I can't imagine the amount of time he spent on the road to achieve such a amazing result to win both premierships in the same year back in that era, and some of the great horsemen that he would have been against. So, and you talk to a lot of when I say the elder statesmen in the game now, that were fortunate enough to see him operate, he was at the top of the tree.
Yeah, I feel very lucky. Dad worked for Uncle Les, as he was known for me, for a number of years, and then they also had a team of horses together at Condell Park, and getting to spend time with him, he was an incredible horseman, and he definitely cared about the presentation of his horses. From the stories that I hear, there were no better presented horses on track, and just an amazing horseman, as I said. So it's great to see the club honour him this Saturday night.
And a gentleman.
Absolutely. And a great field that set to line up here. Of course, we see Captain's Knock back after.
I'm tipping Captain's Knock.
You're going Captain's Knock?
I'll get in trouble if I don't. He always wins when I don't. And he nearly pulled it off because I had a good go. I thought Len Smith Mile was his race. Mm-hmm. And he got the Sia Art and the genius Josh Gallagher drive up the fence. Just got him on the line. So he ran a great race in that. And yeah, he's had a little bit of time off. Apparently, he's been doing a little bit of servicing.
Interesting. There you go.
Yeah, so there's a little rumour. So the Knock's been knocking on some doors.
Some fancy
Billies
and
bit. So whether he's got his mind back on the job, but he's going to be definitely hard to beat in that race.
And, of course, Betterthancash there, we spoke to Will earlier on in the show. He was a very impressive performer here last Saturday night. And that turn of foot that we saw him show down the straight was very impressive. So here's another one that you'd definitely be keeping safe in that race as well.
Race.
Certainly is. Best bets segment of the show, Wano. Who is your best this Saturday night?
As you know, I study for this award-winning podcast, okay? So I do my homework. So it's got no.
Can't help but laugh. Yeah. Stop.
I'm going to reload from what Will just said. So I've changed my mind 3 times, and my best bet's going to reload. Of course, Will Rixon said it's his best drive of the night, and I do like the filly. I think she's a very, very good filly. She was back to her best last start, and she's got good mile form.
Clearly a lot of study went into that. You just waited to speak to Will and then go from
and
here.
And then I pressed him about it too.
Well, it's about to sound like that I just waited until we spoke to Bernie as well and then selected my best bet because I've gone the way of race 6, number 8, Jungle Dragon.
And you did too.
I know that Bernie mentioned that Royal Cruiser was probably his top chance of the evening, but Jungle Dragon, his trial on Monday night was very impressive there, just behind Royal Cruiser in that 150.6. And he's a Breeders' Blue winner, this horse, and this 3-year-old season, he has just continued to step up at every single challenge that's been thrown his way. So I think even though he is drawn the outside, I think he is a definite winning chance, and that's why I've made him my best.
Royal Cruiser is going to be about $1.08 as well.
And I've been told I've got to try and find a little bit of a price for my bet.
Value,
so
yep.
We're trying to do that. Who's your next best, Wonno?
Well, that's what I'm doing. So my next best, I don't think it'll be favourite. It'll be near there. But it's race 5, number 1, Our Sadie K. Darren Binskin, Robert Morris takes a drive. We've mentioned her name a few times on this show as one of our value bets. So barrier 1, I don't know. I think over the 2,300, people might be prepared to just take a sit, and she might get away with a sneaky one. So putting some faith in Roberto Morris this week from the barrier 1, Our Sadie K as my next best.
Very good find there, I think, Wonno. And my next best comes up in the race before, and that's race 4, number 7, Sugar Pie Honey. I'm not too sure how much value you're going to find about this filly, but for Ricky Ouchin and Ashley DeLosa here, she was very impressive in her Breeders' Challenge heat win, which was her first start back from a spell. Of course, she won this series last year as a 2-year-old, and I'll be hoping on Saturday night she's one step closer to making it back-to-back series wins. Who's your value play?
Well, I'm really pushing the button on Roberto Morris and barrier 1 once again, but I'm going to race 7, Path to Greatness, trained by Grant Dixon, who's down in Victoria, as we know, with the champion, the Leap to Fame. But he's leaving this horse with Robert. He's going to be here for a couple of days with the horse. Path to Greatness, they've got massive wraps on this horse, Jess. They put him in the same breath as Fader Waits, and we know how good Fader Waits is. And once or twice this horse has shown that, and he's raced in all the great races. I know it's a really hard heat, but from barrier 1, I think you're going to get some each-way value about this horse, and he's definitely one not to be left out of any of the exotics. Path to Greatness.
Well, of course, he ran second in the New South Wales Derby earlier this year as well, which is quite a good second placing to be taking into this series.
You're going to get each-way value, I guarantee it.
My value play comes up very early on in the night. I've gone race 1, number 5, Unfazed for Paul Fitzpatrick and also Zara Fitzpatrick. Paul's utilising Zara's 3-point claim here, and he's a horse that's been finding the line very, very strongly. He's back over the mile distance here, and I think if he can find a nice place, we'll definitely be seeing him running home at the finish. So, Unfazed there. Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. We've come to the end of another edition of the Menangle Angle. It's been great to speak with you, Wonno. It's also been great to speak with Will and Bernie, and another action-packed night, as I mentioned earlier on in the show, coming up from Club Menangle. Of course, the night markets are on. I know that the kids...
They're on Friday as well. So everyone who's listening, the night markets are here. It's a big food festival, Friday night and Saturday night.
So plenty going on. I know that the Kids of Macarthur Night at the Trot charity fundraiser is also on upstairs on level 2. So it's going to be a great crowd here on course for the Breeders' Challenge semi-finals.
Yep, and we've got a barbecue happening in the stables for the participants, a gold coin donation. Lots of sausage sandwiches available for everyone down there. So please, as you come through the gate, say hi to the girls and... sausage sandwich for a gold coin donation. I'll probably have about 8.
And, of course, those funds will be going to the Menangle Park Mini Trot Club, who will also be out in force this Saturday night because we have the Breeders' Challenge Mini Trots as well. How many races are there for them, Wonno? 4. And participants are travelling from right across the state to take part in this series, aren't they? Yep,
it's going to be good. We just moved it away with the food festival. We like the entertainment for the big crowd we're going to have here with the foodies. And they love the mini trots. All the feedback, people come to the markets, they go, where's the mini trot? So we're coming a week earlier, taking away from the finals night, and they'll be able to use the stables as well, the mini trotters, which they'll be happy about with no retention barn being activated this week. So looking forward to all the kids being here on Saturday night.
Great to speak with you today, David Wonson. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us on the Menangle Angle. We'll catch you next week for a big edition of the Menangle Angle, where we'll be rolling into Group 1 New South Wales Breeders' Challenge Night. We'll speak to you then.